1 year ago, I started renting out my tiny house on Airbnb, so I thought I'd do a little update video sharing how that's going, revealing how much money it's made, some of the problems that we've ran into, and also speaking a little bit about whether or not I plan to continue going with this endeavor. Back in January of this year, I made a little video kind of like this where I shared how things had been going after the very first month of having it live on Airbnb, and at the time I revealed that the whole thing had been a bit of a flop. So looking back at the numbers for that very first month, which was December 2023, we had 3 bookings, which brought in a total of £686.83, which in dollars was about $876 at the time. After taking away the expenses for that month, it lost £146.06, which was about $186. So month by month, let's take a look at how things have gone since then. Okay, so I came over to the desk for the numbers because it just felt like a business move. So month by month, we've got a Christmas tree behind us as well, Merry Christmas. Month by month, starting with January, this was the worst month. It lost £974.64. I think that was because there was a lot of things like the boiler getting serviced, the electronics getting tested, and the home insurance coming off. So those are all like just big, well not big, they're just yearly expenses that happen in January. So I think that's what made it lose money. February was better. Made £707.83. March was not as good, it made £471.11. April, pretty similar, the profit was £470.88. May, the profit was a little bit less, it was £404.72. June was the best yet, got much more bookings, so that obviously brought in more money, and the expenses were a lot less because it's obviously warmer in June, so you don't need the heating on, so it just costs less to run. For June, the profit was £1,596.69. Sorry. And July was pretty good as well. The profit was about the same, £1,528.86. August was the best month out of all of them, I'm pretty sure. We had 11 bookings and the profit was £2,224.49. Again, the expenses were kind of low just because I guess it was warmer then, didn't need the heating on as much. September was not as good, the expenses were up again. The profit was down at £447.31. October was very good. I don't know why. People obviously were coming to Scotland for Halloween. So the profit there was £1,903.84. November wasn't as good. The expenses going up as it gets a little bit colder and not as many people booking. So the profit there was £377.58. And December so far and sort of projections are not good either. Only got 3 bookings for December and it's looking like we'll make £905.45. Expenses I've guessed are probably going to be about £1,050. So the profit is going to be minus £144.55. So overall for the whole year, the total profit is looking like it'll be about £9,014.12, which in dollars is $11,454.16. Now I should mention the profit there is before I pay my mum. I've mentioned before in these sort of little Airbnb update videos that I'm kind of employing my mum to do like the changeovers, the cleaning, and she doesn't want me to tell you all how much Bitcoin she has. So out of respect to her, I'm not sharing how much her payments are because, you know, snitches get stitches and all that. Whatever is left over from the profit after I pay my mum is then split between me and my brother. My brother kind of handles some of the bookkeeping, the invoices, the bills, and I handle the security, the bouncer side of things. No, I'm just kidding. I do a bit of the behind the scenes stuff as well, so we're all pulling some kind of weight with this. And for just simplicity of this video, let's just say that that £9,000 profit is split between 3 people. It's not an equal share, obviously, but just for argument's sake, let's say that's the case. Now, I know that people will probably have some questions about this whole thing. Do I want to keep going with Airbnb? Am I bothered about the ethicalness of the whole endeavor? And what's my favorite musical? To be honest, it's a toss-up between Mary Poppins and La La Land. No, but seriously, on the topic of do I want to keep going with Airbnb and kind of what's my long-term plan with everything, I am not horribly sure. To pull the curtain back a little bit more on this whole thing and just kind of share all of the financials, here are the typical month-to-month expenses from running this. On top of this, the sort of tiny house financials, a couple of years ago, it was valued at, if I was going to sell it, offers over £170,000. That's how things work in Scotland. Usually it's like offers over, so people can bid higher. That's how things tend to go over here. And it has a mortgage of around 115,000, 115, not 150. The mortgage payments are about £550 per month. I think they went up a little while ago, and they're actually interest only. So they aren't actually taking anything off the total loan amount of 115,000. Despite that, I can pay off 10% of the total loan amount per year without penalties, and doing that would obviously bring down the monthly expenses and bring up the profit. If you think that's a bad mortgage deal, it probably is. There's just not many kind of like Airbnb holiday rental mortgages to pick from. So I think in general the interest rates are quite high and just not very good. So if it's not good, it's not good. I've been looking at ways that I could bring down the costs, and one way would be to get solar panels so that the heating isn't as severe in the winter months. It can sometimes get up to like £200 per month, just because it gets cold here and people crank the heating. But aside from the mortgage and the heating, there's not really that many expenses that we can kind of squeeze down to make this more profitable. One way we could make it more profitable is by raising the price per night that people pay to stay here. It's currently £109 per night, that's what we get, and then Airbnb charge a little bit of a service fee on top of that. I don't really want to put the price up anymore because I feel it's just quite a fair price. I don't want to, take the piss. So going forward, as I see it, we have three options. Option one is keep going with the Airbnb, eventually pay off the mortgage and get solar panels. So the end result of this would be owning the property outright with very minimal bills, and if I was still doing Airbnb, it would be bringing in like £20,000 per year profit, or I could move back here and just kind of live very cheaply. Option two, very attractive, is keep the house and turn it into a grow factory, but there are some legal concerns there. Option three, sell the house and with the profit, just buy a bunch of Bitcoin. I don't know, let me know what you think, is the best option, because I'm just not terribly bright with this kind of thing. If you're in the know about mortgages, solar panels, flipping houses, or internal greenhouses, then I'd love to hear your input in the comments as to what you think I should do. Now, beyond the money part, there's been many good and bad parts about running the Airbnb over the past year, which I thought I'd mention here now as well. The good side is that it's just been a very nice experience. People love staying here, and that just makes me feel quite proud. My mum enjoys working with me on this, so that's nice. Another pretty unique positive about this whole thing is that quite a few people have come to stay here after seeing me or the tiny house on YouTube. So they've come and stayed here and they've messaged us on Airbnb or messaged me on Instagram saying that they're staying at the tiny house, and I've usually come around and like shook their hand. Like, I'm not hanging out with anyone, just sort of meeting people in person. It's been a nice experience. Everyone's been really lovely, and I've not been stabbed yet, so that's a bonus. The bad side of the whole thing is still the ethicalness of it all. I know that people are not enamored with the idea of me renting out anything. I know that's just kind of thing that people are against in general, which I totally get. I've said before that I think if you're doing Airbnb and it's like a shepherd's hut or like a little cabin in the woods, then I don't think anyone can really complain about that. But when you're buying up like family homes, affordable family homes right next to a school or something like that, and then putting it as a holiday home, renting it out as a holiday home, then it's a bit bad. So I kind of think that I'm somewhere in the middle, kind of dancing on the fence, somewhere between. It's not a family home. It's not terribly affordable either. Like I said before, it's been valued at 170,000. So I don't feel like I've like snapped up anything that was particularly family friendly. Maybe I'm being too fair to myself there, but that's just kind of the way that I feel. I don't know. You can let me know if you think I'm a knobhead there. I think the reason I want to hold on to the house is, and it's not a logical thing, it's just kind of sentimental. I took this house, like I said before, from an abandoned house to something that I'm quite proud of. I think one day I'd quite like to move back here just because I had a good time here. It's been a source of a lot of good for me, met cool people through it, and yeah, just selfishly, sentimentally, I don't want to let it go quite yet. Maybe that'll change in the future, but that's my position. Illogical as it is, I just felt that I should mention it anyway. I know that running an Airbnb is not a terribly relatable or wholesome topic, but I share a lot about what I've got going on this channel, and this is one of the things that I've got going on, so I thought I would share it because I know a lot of people are curious about how it's going, so hopefully this video has quenched that curiosity for those people. If you'd like to come and stay at this tiny house, I'll leave a link down below where you can book it. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you leaving a like and subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.